When you criticize yourself harshly, your brain activates the same regions that fire when you're under attack. So if someone's like threatening you physically, when you criticize yourself, the same parts of your brain are lighting up. My life has been a little bit bumpy. If you follow this podcast, this isn't your first episode, then you know that probably the last 2 episodes have been a little bit strange. This one is, I think I'm on the road to recovery, right? My personal life is still just a little bit bumpy as I'm recovering from a few things that happened to me recently. But, here's the thing. Life happens, right? Life is going to happen. And I remind myself every time I sit down to record this podcast, this is the Humaning Well podcast. I am doing my best to human well, right? I don't have to be perfect, but I do need to show up and, kind of role model what it looks like to apply some of this stuff because, it's all great when we're smiles and things are joyful, but like sometimes life is tough, right? And life is going to happen. It's just how it goes. None of us move through the world untouched. So anyway, if you happen to follow me on Instagram and you check my stories, then I've been working through a couple of things and I've been pretty transparent about those. The first one is I have just been feeling really unattractive. And I can't put my finger on exactly why. The way this has showed up for me, the way like it happens in my brain is like someone may say, Amber, you have such a pretty face. And my brain immediately goes, yeah, it would be nice if the rest of you matched. That's so ugly, right? Like it's harsh, it's cruel, and it's me talking to me. Like it's my own brain. And when that happens, I'm like, wow, why are we doing that? Like what's happening inside? That's what the response is, and I haven't quite gotten to what it is, but I do notice it and I'll talk about how I navigate it. Number 2, I've been relearning how to trust my intuition because when something happens to you that blindsides you or shakes you or breaks your sense of safety or violates your trust or disrespects you or whatever, right? Like rebuilding trust in yourself is a journey. And I am on that journey learning to follow my gut again and not beat myself up if I assess something wrongly. Like, again, I'm not perfect. I won't catch it all. But both of these things have really pushed me, almost forced me to intentionally practice being kind to myself because, whatever's happening with me right now has made it hard for me to just naturally be kind to myself. So I've had to practice it. So like not just in theory, not on a good day, not when I think I might have a little bit more confidence, but like literally right now in the middle of what is a bit of a complicated mess, I have to be nice to me. I have to practice self-kindness, self-compassion. And I see a lot of people, especially people who are trying to human better, who are incredibly kind to others, but unbelievably cold to themselves. You've been actively looking for a job for over a year. Stop calling yourself names. Be kind to yourself. You've been navigating heartbreak or a health issue or some kind of transition that's knocked you off your feet. Stop interpreting that as a personal failure. Be kind to yourself. You've gained weight because life has been heavy. You ignored a red flag. You're rebuilding after someone lied to you, disappointed you, hurt you. Be kind to yourself. You're doing the best you can with the information and capacity and resources and time that you have today. And when we forget that, I think it encourages us to start talking to ourselves in ways that we would never allow someone else to talk to us. And the thing is, self-kindness isn't just emotional. It's not just about you feeling good. It's literally biological and basically medically necessary. There's neuroscience behind why being gentle with yourself actually helps you to heal and also to think more clearly. So self-kindness calms your threat system. When you criticize yourself harshly, your brain activates the same regions that fire when you're under attack. So if someone's like threatening you physically, when you criticize yourself, the same parts of your brain are lighting up, okay? Especially the amygdala. So your body is being flooded with stress hormones. So if you're working on your weight, beating yourself up is making it worse. And that self-criticism feels so debilitating and heavy because it's activating those parts of your brain. Your brain literally believes that you're in danger. So if you're already in a hard season and then you want to pile on top of it with self-attacks, your body never gets access to the calm. You're never going to lose the weight, right? Whatever it is, you're creating more stress and obstacle. The other thing is that self-kindness activates your caregiving and soothing system. So when you offer yourself compassion, even if it's just in your own brain, what happens is that your brain shifts into its caregiving circuits. And this is the system that's connected to generating oxytocin and feelings of safety and connection. And it's the same system that gets activated when you comfort someone else, except now you are extending that to yourself. Okay. Listen, I like neuroscience. I'm going to try to give it to y'all when I got it. But ultimately, your brain is wired to respond to warmth, even if it comes from you. If you're not getting it from someone else, the very least you can do is give it to yourself. The other thing is self-kindness gives your intuition space to kind of come back online. Like it creates an opportunity for you to rebuild that muscle. And this part is especially important for me in this season because like my intuition is, like my friends will even tell you my intuition is like spot on very often, but it's felt like it hasn't been working well for me lately. But your intuition lives in the part of the brain that handles emotional regulation and clarity and processing. And that area is called the prefrontal cortex. And stress and self-criticism, when you are engaging in those things, you shut that area down. But when you're gentle with yourself, when you calm your threat system, your brain becomes clearer. You can sense things differently. You can notice what you missed. You can trust your instincts again. You gotta give yourself a break. All right. You got to do that. And it's not because you're fragile. It's not because you want to avoid accountability, any of those kinds of things. Right. And, you know, if you aren't doing your best, but I think a lot of us really are. And you have to remember that your brain can't regulate. It can't heal. It can't make grounded decisions when the person that is hurting you is you. You have to be your safe place. Self-kindness isn't optional. It's especially not optional during tough times. It's literally the thing that helps you stabilize enough to move forward. That's actually what the neuroscience I just shared with you says. And so I'm going to give you a couple of specific things that have helped me practice self-kindness, and then I'll share some other techniques that you can use. So one thing I've been doing is I pause before I drag myself verbally. Before I say something mean to myself, I literally just stop and process. And then sometimes if I catch it and I'm in the middle of doing that, I will just say, let's talk to ourselves better. Like, let's talk to ourselves better. What would that sound like? If I were to say that nicely, what would it sound like? Does it need to be said? Right? So I've been doing that. I actively practice catching the urge to be judgmental when I look in the mirror. I will not deny it's been hard for me to look in the mirror, but when I'm heading out, I make sure that I am gentle with myself, right? And when I catch myself being harsh, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Why am I feeling that way? Is this real, or are we just having a moment? Self-kindness in this season is choosing to believe that even though my world might be shaking, I do not have to add to that by shaking myself. Additional ways that you can practice being more kind to yourself. Number one, stop narrating your life like you're disappointed in yourself. That internal voice that's like, you should be further, you should know better, you're messing everything up. Shut that off. It's not wisdom. It's old programming. It has never helped you. Shh. Okay. Number two, you have to shift from judgment to observation. So judgment sounds like, I always do this. What's wrong with me? And observation sounds more like, gee, I'm having a little bit of a tough time today, or I'm noticing that I'm struggling with this. Observation creates space for you to breathe, and judgment just shuts everything down. The third thing you can do is give yourself what you think you need, not what you deserve. So sometimes we're like, you know what? I didn't earn that, so I don't get to have it. But like, what do you need though? Right? Because we like to punish ourselves with things that are essential to our functioning, like rest. Like you need rest, and you don't earn kindness by not resting or being perfect. You don't earn, rest by collapsing. You don't earn grace by succeeding. You need what you need, and some of it is foundational, and you need to give it to yourself willingly. The fourth thing is you have to interrupt self-neglect with small acts of care. So some of you, when you are beating yourself up or having a tough time, you avoid showers, or other really important, just like taking care of yourself things. We have to interrupt the self-neglect. Like it can very quickly slip into depression. So what is a small act of care? Maybe you don't have it to do a whole shower, but we can wash up at the sink, like don't allow yourself to just settle and sit in self-neglect. and, not at least try to push yourself forward. I don't think you need to be consuming things. I don't think you need to be distracting yourself with stuff. I think you need to just care for yourself. Eat some real food, hydrate, move your body, get some sunlight, take a shower, breathe, spend some time in nature. All of these things build the internal conditions that help you have clarity and intuition. And I know because I am working on using as many of these as I can to help me. Okay. So, and it works. Like, especially like lately, the being in nature has been really nice. It's really, I've walked away feeling like, okay, I can trust me. And that's been a good feeling. The fifth thing is that you should acknowledge progress, even if it's just little progress. Your brain actually logs the small wins along the way before it really recognizes a big transformation. And because we tend to just think of the big things as reasons to celebrate, sometimes we don't get as much of those good chemicals as we could by recognizing the small wins on the journey to the big one. I'm going to also give you some reflection questions. These are, I've kind of told you I've been writing my own journal prompts. I have written you a few. If you are a journaler, these are some things you can consider. The first one is, where have I been unkind to myself in ways I would never tolerate from someone else? This one, we will talk to people around us with the utmost respect. We will talk to people we hate with the utmost respect and kindness. And then we will talk to ourselves like we are the worst person ever. Like, I really want us to be better at that. I think it would make us, so much better as a species, like globally. What would it look like to treat myself like someone I am responsible for protecting? Because you are responsible for protecting yourself. What would that sound like? What is one small act of self-kindness I can practice today? This isn't about spending or consuming. It's about being good to yourself. So don't think of this as something you have to buy. This could just be something that you need to do. Paint your own fingernails. I don't know, but something that's small, that's self-kindness. How can I honor my intuition without punishing myself for what I could not have known? This one's been really tough for me. I have really had to unpack this because I be knowing. I be knowing. And so when I get blindsided and didn't know, it's rough, And so I've been talking myself through that and journaling about it as well. So I want to remind you that self-kindness isn't soft. It's not weakness. It's discipline. It's well-being. It's emotional intelligence. It's neuroscience. And it's one of the most powerful tools that you have for stabilizing your life. You deserve to be someone that you speak gently to. You deserve to be someone you trust. You deserve you to take care of you. So if life is loud right now, you don't have to add to the noise by hurting yourself. Be kind to yourself. And I know that these are just words, but I hope there's something in here that you can actually grab onto and practice. I am in the process of grabbing onto these things and practicing them. So your future self will thank you. My future self will thank me. And it will mostly appreciate the way you loved you through the tough moments. All right. So short episode this week. I'll catch you next week. Have a great one.